Hello everyone, this is Jama Malmi, and today I'm sharing my process for creating one of the January Craft with Heart scrapbook subscription layouts. This is the layout number 2, and I am turning it into a Halloween layout. So in order to make it work with my pictures, I turned the left side sideways because my bigger pictures, my 4x6 pictures, are landscape orientation. But you'll see later on that I actually end up switching it back because I just wasn't liking it. But I'm showing you my whole process here. So I had 3 group photos that I wanted to include, but I didn't want to include them each individually because they're all just kind of the same posed pictures with different people. So I'm using a flip flap in order to add a couple more photos, but keep the integrity of the actual design of the layout. And I'm adding a little pop of orange to my layout because it is Halloween, and look at how cute it looks. Those colors are very complementary. I'm using the Retired Tangerine color cardstock because I don't have Nectarine, which is the newer one. Nectarine would look really great with these too. But I'm backing all my photos just with a little photo mat for that pop of orange. And then once my page protector's on, I will add that flip flap on top, and you'll be able to flip it up and have a little interaction piece and add more photos. And then over on the right, I am adding some smaller photos. I used a collage app to print 2 per 4x6 picture. I printed them on my selfie printer. You saw me cutting those apart before. And I didn't try to make them 2x3. I just kind of put them on there, collaged them in the size that I liked based on the photo. And then you saw me cut them narrower and different sizes to crop it just right. Now I'm adding the orange over on the right side of the page too. And I needed the mink cardstock, that light gray that I'm working on now, to be a little bit longer. So I grabbed a sheet from my stash and glued them all onto there. Now I want to point out here, I have a new paper trimmer. I got the cut rail trimmer, which it's not a new trimmer, but it is new to me, and I am really liking it. It's a little different than the other SureCut trimmer, where it has the wire guide on where to cut. So it takes a little adjusting, but I like that it cuts exactly at the edge of that bar. So it's really easy and very, what's the word I'm looking for, like sturdy. And so you know exactly where you're cutting, and it's just a little different, but I really like it. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm happy with that purchase. So now I'm adding these extra little squares that were included in the kit. If you're not familiar with the Craft with Heart kits, everything comes pre-cut with die cuts and stickers and everything, and the design is already planned for you, but you'll see how I'm tweaking it a little bit, but also in sticking with the integrity of the design. So those little squares, they are already printed on the paper, so you don't have to add them if you don't want to, but they add a little bit of extra dimension. And I think the reason why they are also printed on the paper is so you know exactly where to place them, because otherwise it'd be kind of hard to line them up. So you could save them for another project, or it is some nice added dimension that they add to the layout. So I'm using my T-square ruler to line up where I place that long strip of photos, and then I realized that, or I'm punching out the die cuts here. I didn't use that big gray piece, and I realized that that circle that I cut in half, I stuck it down a little bit too far from where I wanted it, and I'm realizing that here as I'm putting that little banner on. So I tried lifting it up, but it was tearing too much, so I just put the other half right over it, and you can't even tell. I was going to save that other half for another project, but can't do that now. And so the reason why I wanted to use this layout for these photos is because my son's little friend Hudson in the photos is a dinosaur. And these are really the only photos that I have where there are dinosaurs in them, or anything that would work with dinosaurs. And so that's why I made the Halloween photos work with this layout, and I think it worked really well. I couldn't get that cactus to work though. You'll see I keep trying to add it throughout, but I wasn't liking the placement of it, and then I also didn't like that it just had nothing to do with my photos. So I ended up using it on another project, and if you watched my last video, I used it on a card. And then the other thing I'm going to keep playing with here is the title. And I cut with my Cricut the word Halloween, and I was going to use Wild Halloween instead of Wild Child because there are more than one child on this layout. So I cut out the word Halloween and trying to make that work. I'm not liking the long word across the two patterns of paper up there, so I keep futzing with that. But then I added it to this mink cardstock, and I used my T-square ruler to line it up, and then I'm going to cut that out again using this awesome trimmer and kind of play with where that's going to be placed. I just didn't like it going across that seam, if you will, of the two papers, and so I'm trying to make it work, but I'm going to keep playing around and rotating it. And so I wanted to keep this process in so you can see that if you're not liking something, just change it. Rotate your papers. I'm going to just try to play around with the placement of the title and the photos, and thought about changing how I have the flip flap, and it's taking me a while to kind of figure it out. There I am trying to get that cactus on again. I decided to flip the page upside down from how I had it and try that, and I finally realized I really just don't like it going across that seam. And so I thought, well, why does the photo have to be right in the line up with that photo mat that's printed? And so I was starting to think outside the box a little bit. I had to get my mojo going, and decided to turn the photo and have it go the opposite way of that background of that photo. And so I was liking that better because then the words lined up with that line between the papers over there on the left. And this is where I decided, nope, I'm just not going to make that cactus work. It just doesn't work here. Adding some of the stickers, and I still wasn't liking the word Halloween. I didn't like that bright orange, and so I cut it again, same size and everything, but in black. And I think this is one of the close to my heart fonts. I think it's Artiste, which is, that Cricut cartridge is retired now, but I'm pretty sure it was one of the Cricut fonts, not a system font, but you can use whatever font you want. I chose something simple. So I really liked how that black looked, and then I made it so that the orange sticks out like a shadow underneath, so you still see like kind of the shadow of the orange, and you can't tell so much right here, but it looks cute in person. And then I had these like metal badge stickers that I got at Hobby Lobby when my kids decided to be Superman and Supergirl, because they were cute little superhero badges. And so I added those to the layout. I thought that they looked really fun and they played nicely with all of these products in the layout. So that was fun to be able to use those. And so I just scattered them kind of throughout, sort of keeping in mind the rule of threes. I have two bunched together by the dinosaur, and that's kind of like one cluster, and then the other cluster up at the top, and then the other cluster down on the bottom left. And then I just started adding some embellishments from my stash. The first ones were some black enamel stars that were available a while ago. They're retired now. And then the gray and white gems. And then I think I added some clear sparkles and some silver glitter gems, which those two are like my go-to embellishments. I love those. And so just created those little clusters that added some extra pizzazz and fun. And then did my journaling, and that wrapped up my layout. It came together simply because everything was pre-cut and pre-designed, and I just kind of made it work for my photos. So I hope that you enjoy. If you did, I hope that you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my blog for all the details and close-up photos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.